we all know, the conventional duty of the government is to create laws that require appropriate regulation, ensure that the economy goes through proper management, and enforce policies. The government is also expected to provide service, protection, and the security of safety to its citizens, which will be the main focus of this discussion. The NSTP program is especially significant in effectively providing these elements to the nation. But how did it come to be? How did it evolve to the kind of program it is in the present?
What is NSTP? NSTP means National Service Training Program, or the Act of 2001 RA 9163. Just from the name itself, you might already have an idea of the concept of this program, but we will explain it further.
It is a program signed by former President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo on January 23, 2002.
It is aimed at enhancing civic consciousness, which is important in influencing the progress of the state and society, and defense preparedness in the youth by developing the moral philosophies and disciplines of providing service and a wholesome sense of attachment to the country, all while undergoing training in either of the three program components that the NSTP offers.
It was legislated as a responsive effect to the uproar of the community that demanded changes and alterations for the Reserved Officers Training Corps program.
It may have something to do with the death of Mark Wilson Chua, a 19-year-old engineering sophomore and ROTC cadet at the University of Santo Tomas. His death is prevalently believed to be associated to his expose of corruption cases in the university's Reserve Officers Training Corps unit. His death sparked the passage to remove mandatory ROTC.
It was established by the virtue of decisions by the Board of Regents Republic Act No. 9163 by the University of the Philippines, UP Diliman. It is also known as an act establishing the National Service Training Program, or NSTP, for tertiary level students, amending for the purpose Republic Act No. 7077 and Presidential Decree No. 1706, and for other purposes on January 23, 2002.
Commonwealth Act No. 1, also known as the National Defense Act, which specifically identifies the act to provide the national defense for the Philippines, penalizing certain violations thereof, appropriating funds therefore, and for other purposes.
It was passed by the Philippine National Assembly on December 21, 1935, under the presidency of Manuel L. Quezon, making it the first ever legal basis for national defense training specifically aimed at students. The purpose of this act was to create an independent Philippine military and to encourage the youth to actively participate in civic welfare and literacy initiatives, as well as to provide defense with high expectation and hope to reach the goal of having these trained students be the first line of responsive individuals during times of national emergency, like in times of war or disastrous events in areas around the country.
It was physically the 35th section of the National Defense Act that stated at such colleges and universities as the President may designate that there shall be established and maintained reserve officers training units of such arms and services as he shall specify, where every physically fit student shall be required to pursue a course of military instructions designed to qualify him for a commission as a third lieutenant of reserve. Insofar as may be practicable, the student shall be permitted to choose the arm or service in which he wishes to train. This course of military instructions, if pursued to completion, shall exempt student from training instruction, but it however shall not exempt them from registration.
Although the Second World War effects on the ROTC program of the country were unclear, had positive effect on the other countries that were significantly involved in the global conflict, since it had been apparent that during the Second World War, the ROTC program showed effectiveness with the foundation of everything it had originally aimed for. The course continued, surviving abolishment, and many of the students who were in the college at that time chose to take it.
After 45 years, another law related to the maintenance of the ROTC program was passed, now with added modifications and changes that were to fit more with the demands of the public. This was the Presidential Decree 1706, also known as the National Service Law, under President Ferdinand Marcos, that states the NSTP program shall be obligatory for all the citizens of the Philippines.
As used in this decree, national service shall consist of three main programs, similarly aimed at enhancing civic consciousness and defense preparedness in the youth, which are the following: civic welfare service, law enforcement service, and military service, which require the need for those inevitable to join, the development in one's character, the qualities of being motivated, trained, organized, mobilized, and most especially to have a strong commitment to the welfare, respect for the law of the country and those in strong authority and power. The law was implemented under the Education Act of 1982, which is the policy of the state that holds the act of providing the establishment and maintenance of a complete, adequate, and integrated system of facilitated learning and participation in social, economic, and cultural activities in order to ascertain the attainment of the goals of the nation in matters involving the quality of education and its overall development. However, this did not see a full implementation due to the lack of cooperation from the students. This law, together with the PD 1706, is what influenced the rise of a stronger legal basis for non-traditional ROTC programs from the Philippine Constitution of 1987.
Located in the second article of the fourth section of the law is the statement that, quote, the prime duty of the government is to serve and protect the people. The government may call upon the people to defend the state, and, in fulfillment thereof, all citizens may be required, under conditions provided by law, to render personal military or civil service, end quote.
In 1991, under the presidency of Corazon Aquino, came the Republic Act of 7077, more specifically identified as the Act of Providing for the Organization, Administration, Training, Maintenance, and Utilization of the Citizen Armed Force of the Armed Forces of the Philippines and for other purposes.
So there are two sections in this law that take relevant concepts from the Presidential Decree number 1706.
In Section 38 of this law states military training for students enrolled in colleges, universities, and similar institutions of learning is mandatory pursuant to the provisions of the National Defense Act and the 1987 Constitution.
Section 63 gives emphasis on the need for auxiliary service for the purpose of helping maintain local peace and order, health, welfare, and activities, and participating in local socio-economic development projects, assisting in rescue and relief operations during disasters and calamities. The President may call upon the reservists in the affected or concerned localities to volunteer their services.